Okay, hello.
Hold on,
Welcome.
hold on, I'll tell you.
Okay, not yet, not yet. Sorry.
Okay, 5, 4.
Hello. Welcome to the debate forum, Hyde Park on the internet. We promise you an entertaining and thought-provoking discussion. So let me pass the word right away to Mr. Al Brown, my erstwhile friend, but soon to be my debate opponent. Okay, Al.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Welcome, everyone. My name is Al Brown. Joining me here is Mario Kyriakides, Sandhu, and of course, you've heard from Andrew Wood. Today's topic for our debate forum is going to be self-driving cars versus you drive cars. In other words, the car that drives itself, or whether you behind the steering wheel maintain control over your vehicle and make all the decisions that are to be had. For the pro side today, will be Andrew Wood and Mario Kyriakides. Now, for everyone's information, just a little bit of background on this. To a certain extent, self-driving cars are already here. They come in the form of driver assist. Some of you may have vehicles that can park themselves, have braking systems that stop you from having collisions, or other features. There are other ones that have lane control. None of these are actually self-driving cars. And self-driving technology isn't expected to be around for many years. Based on what my readings are, they will probably be introduced along the time when we start getting electric cars becoming a major feature in our economy in about maybe 5 years or so. Tesla, however, already is the furthest along in creating a self-driving car. They have a system that's about halfway there. The technology, however, costs you an extra $7,000 for their vehicles. Well, if you want that sort of stuff, a self-driving car for $7,000, maybe that's for you. Today, though, we're going to debate whether we want that at all. Now, it seems to me that many of you are probably going to be making this decision right now, because there are definitely benefits from having a self-driving car. And that is what
That's debatable.
As Andrew says, it is debatable. So I'm going to start off with outlining some of the basic benefits that are considered from these cars. Firstly, self-driving cars are projected to reduce the number of accidents that are happening, mostly minor fender benders, I would think. Secondly, they should be able to, in conjunction with central control systems, which are almost essential, almost a necessity in this case, make for better driving experiences, avoiding traffic congestion, improving maybe fuel efficiency, and it could make driving under the influence charges a thing of the past. Now those are the basic things that I think really matter here, but we're going to hear now from the con side. Andrew or Mario, which one of you would like to speak first?
Go ahead, Mario.
Well, thank you very much, Andrew, and welcome everybody to this debate forum. And let me begin, Al Brown, by saying, first of all, the argument that you're posing that it will reduce accidents and it will improve congestion, let me just take exception to that, because from the congestion point of view, it's more volume related than it is space related with cars. If you have a lot of these vehicles on the road, you will still have the same issues as you would have if somebody was driving on their own. The the change that has to come is not in the car technology. The change that has to come is an infrastructure in order for you to be able to drive to drive a self car or to drive it on your own. It is that simple. As far as accidents reduction, yeah, you do have a point. It will reduce accidents. However, there could be possibilities of hacking that could create accidents. There's also possibilities that the car may malfunction. So you're going to have to be able to override the system by a touch like that very quickly to be able to regain control. So it doesn't remove you from the seat, right? You're not going to be able to sit in the back seat and read a newspaper, at least not in the beginning. So that is my counters to yours.
Very well. Sarab, what do you have to say in defense of self-driving cars?
Well, first, I must thank everybody on the debate forum to listen to this. And I recently read in the newspaper that one guy took a car from here to Montreal, put it in auto mode, and went to sleep because they saw the car going with nobody sitting there. He was sleeping on his chair, and it reached Montreal. So technically, this is going to happen because the spaceships, most of them are unmanned. They can go to the moon with control from behind. And here, like, these cars have about sensors all around them. They're trying to exactly take you where you want to go. And this is going to be always there. Of course, there are going to be problems along the way. The biggest problem they had was when a self-driving car wants to turn right on a T-junction, on a crossroad, when there are people walking, their senses are not good enough to know whether to go or not. That's the biggest trial they have. Once they get used to that, we are laughing. And even in my car, like, I can have park assist, as you say, and do parallel parking very normally. And ships, of course. You know, the ships nowadays are totally, they're trying to make them without manpower at all. They will take them outside the port and all the crew will get off and the ship is going to, say, across the Atlantic. Nobody's on the ship. They're controlling it from shore. All the machinery is working. And just before the port, somebody will come on board and they take the ship in. So this is going to stay here. Spacecrafts, ships, you're going to follow them, the cars, the trucks. And anyway, nowadays they have, Mercedes have self-driving trucks where the driver is required to sit behind and watch what's happening. And he doesn't do anything. He's reading a newspaper, as Mario said. And they're going safely wherever. In case there's a problem, they take over. So that's what I'm saying. This is here to stay. It may take a little time. And nowadays, Tesla is way ahead and they already have a functional car wherever it's allowed to be driven. So there we go. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Sarab. Andrew, as the con side, what is your point of view?
Yeah, well, thanks, Al. Unlike I believe the rest of us here, I actually do have experience driving a self-driving car. We have a mutual friend named Mahat, and he invited me to the Tesla showroom one day a year ago. And I got behind the wheel of one of these cars, and I was terrified because I had no control over this vehicle, at the time, and it was making all the decisions for me. And I have a lifetime of driving on the road and making those decisions for myself. I don't trust these things at all. I mean, how can you? Think of the lawsuit that's going to come the first time when one of these self-driving cars runs over a pedestrian. What, you think that's not going to happen? It is going to happen. So that's, there's no liability. Like, are we turning ourselves into machines? This is part of the whole syndrome with AI and where is society going and the loss of personal control. And this is a major step. It's a step too far. And I also want to point out, if you don't mind, the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people all around the world who make their living from driving cars and trucks and whatever it might be. And what the hell are you going to do with all of these people's jobs and where are they going to find employment you know what? This whole thing is badly considered. It needs a whole lot more analysis, a whole lot more study, and to rush headlong into this and just let it happen because the companies want us to let it happen, that's the wrong way to go, and you know it is.
Thank you very much, Andrew. I'll continue with the pro side on this. As I indicated in my opening remarks, right now Tesla's charging you full self-driving autonomy. But my view is, like all technology, this cost is going to come down to the point where it's negligible. And we will be getting to we will have the capability of self-driving cars, and they will cost almost nothing to install in the car, and they will probably be installed as a factory, just at the factory, like so many other options that we have on our cars, some of which we don't use, but they are there. And obviously, some people will not want to use them, but the capability was there. And as you get to understand the capability of these things, you will probably like them. And there's one aspect of this I would like to speak to, well, a couple aspects. As I mentioned before, driving under the influence charges may be a thing of the past. You know, you go out to your bar with your friends and you have a merry time, and then at the end of the evening, you have one more drink for the road and another for the ditch. And then you get into your car and you push a few buttons and it takes you home. And you pour yourself into your home. And you're okay. I mean, in many cases, a person going out on the road like that would cause traffic accidents, die, or kill others, and it's going to be gone. At the same time, it reminds me of the old days, you know, when we had horses. The man could go out to a bar, drink his fill, and then climb on top of his horse, and his horse would find the way home. Now, it was sort of like self-driving technology back then. You know, you had a smart vehicle called a horse. Now you're going to have a smart vehicle called a car, and it's going to get you home without incident. So there are advantages to this technology. We just have to get used to them and start to understand them. Okay, that's another con argument. Mario, what do you have in response to that?
Well, sure they are. Sure they are, Al Brown. Yes, you created a great imagery. And but let me ask you this, and this is a rhetorical question to everybody who's listening, because if Albert mentioned something really interesting, he said that you know, driving under the influence will be a thing of the past, but you will not be driving, you will be riding under the influence now. And you know, who's going to account for the population explosion that's going to happen in the back seats of those cars? I'm just wondering, guys, because you see, under the influence has a lot of other things going on too. And the other thing is that that Al demonstrated very aptly with this technology today. He had a lag a couple of times when he was speaking to us right now. What if that lag happens while the car is trying to create, to be connected with wherever it's going using GPS systems? What happens if that lag happens? Does the car slow down and go in slow motion? Does it freeze in the middle of the road, Al? You see, that is the problem many times with technology. It isn't really there. And you have to be careful with that. Now, final point to counter your point about costs. Yes, they will go down eventually, because with anything that we've seen with GPSs, with radios, and now, you know, you've got your apps and your iPads and your gaming thing right on the console of your car. They are introduced inexpensively. However, they will become they are introduced expensively, and it will take a lot of time for that R&D cost to go down before people can actually get them. So it takes us way into the future as well, because people will not acclimate to that as quickly.
Sarab,
Well,
something for the pro side?
yes, sure. Let's put it this way. I'm talking about India. They've always had a self-driving car for a long time. Because all you need, if you can afford a driver for $200 a month, you can sit in the back seat and go wherever you want. That's a self-driving car. So all we're doing is replacing the driver with the automation. And talking about lagging, that is why the 5G network is coming up. But the 5G is going to reduce lag and linkage because it's going to be super fast and they'll never have a problem. In fact, 5G is going to be used, cars crossing each other are going to talk to each other because every car is going to have that facility. So they will getting real-time information, how far they are, how much to move. Like just to go back on the ship, you can put your coordinates from the time you start to all around South Africa and go back to Europe. You can put the coordinates and say go. It'll automatically change its target and take you 10,000 miles away and bring you to port. And this 5G network is basically going to be enhancing that ability that there will be no mistakes, no lagging, and it'll be a safer ride. So this is here to stay and it's going to get better and better.
No,
Go ahead,
Gentlemen.
Andrew. Yeah.
gentlemen, we're ignoring the core problem. And the core problem is that there are bad actors in this world, and you're ignoring that fact. There are governments and terrorist organizations who are going to make it their priority and their job to disrupt these systems as much as they can. And I can write those headlines for you. The headlines 10, 20 years from now, whatever it is, where you've got these massive, massive crashes and deaths and snarls in cities all around the world where the terrorists have hacked into the systems and they disabled the systems and people are actually going to die. So yes, you know what? Isn't this wonderful? AI is going to be so much safer. But now I'm a terrorist and now I've got my fingers in the system and I'm going to fuck you up.
Wow.
So take that. Yeah. Oh, what's going
sorry
on,
for the
pros?
explanation.
Gentlemen,
You can delete
let's
that,
do
Sarab.
one
You can
final
delete that
round.
later on.
Is that it, pros? Is that it? You can't handle that? Come on.
No. It is going to stay here because this is the progression. There are terrorists. There are terrorists now. So the cybersecurity is the problem. Russia hacked American institutions, even the Treasury Department. That's always going to be there. They may interact with the system of internet and create havoc, but that is going to happen anyway, whether you like it or not. But it's going to get more and more stronger, and that can avoid those sorts of attacks.
Well, in all seriousness, there has to be multiple firewalls, okay, in a way that can prevent that from happening in there. And the driver should have the ability to, as I said in the very beginning, to, if he senses the car is going off, that they can actually take responsibility for the car, immediately take control over it. So that's key. Now, one more final point before I'm done. And this is this. With Sarab said that with 5G networks, things will be very quick. And yeah, 5G has the ability to do that. It is right now a technological step up. However, capacity will also increase as cars come in. We're going to be talking about millions upon millions of cars worldwide. You're going to need more satellite systems. You're going to need more abilities to be able to communicate, as Sarab said. So there's a huge infrastructure development that has to go on with billions of dollars to be put in place before we can even realize that dream of happening. A test car driving up and down the 401 is not going to be enough. You're going to have capacity for millions.
That's true. Sarab, one last comment, please.
Yes, I am going to drive a self-driving car. I'm going to buy one when it comes out, and I'm going to enjoy the movement up and down. But for me, I would say better than a car. If you meditate, you can go anywhere you want. There's there is no requirement of safety and all that. And you can go wherever you want. You can travel to any planet you want. And that's why I would say you should meditate. And of course, if you don't, go on a self-driving car. That's all I can say.
Andrew, one
I
final
believe my
comment.
debate opponent has just unfairly changed the topic. I'm not sure that's entirely within the realm of our discussion here. But look, my final word, I am going to point you to the law of unintended consequences. And the unintended consequences of this are going to be major. And it's just not that easy. Sure, there's the dream. Sure, there's the technology. But I'm telling you, when it really comes down to it, and when it happens, the problems are going to multiply.
Thank you very much, Andrew. My final comment for this is that we have probably another 5 years or so before this technology is introduced, and there will be time to consider it. Maybe it's not something that everybody should have, but presumably or probably by the time that it is introduced, the debate on this will be concluded. In the meantime, we hope that everybody is getting something from this, and actually it may trigger some discussion or debate in your own mind, in your own circle, as to what you should be doing. Certainly, maybe not now, but a few years from now, as the technology comes in, it's something we all must consider and decide how we are personally going to use it. It's been said that it takes away from our self-motivation, our self-actuation, and that, but all technology does that to a certain extent. And the question is not whether we let it guide us, is whether we use it to expand ourself, our own minds. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for this debate. And next week, or in our next debate, we're going to talk about something a little more high level, which will be artificial intelligence itself. It is coming. It's going to have a profound impact on the way we live and work. And it's something that we do have to have a very vocal debate on eventually. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.